Welcome to JWL Sports, where we review all the best sports clips from around the world. If this is your first time checking out a video, please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility in the algorithm, and it's one of the best ways you can do to support me. Thank you so much, and let's get into it. We're watching a clip of First Take, but Stephen A talking about Jayson Tatum and his MVP case. He never really had a true MVP case. I mean, he was technically like top 5 for the odds, but that was also when Embiid went down, which means he wasn't even originally in the top 5. And his odds were so far down. Top 5 is misleading. Top 5 makes it sound like, oh, you can almost get it. He was like so far below that it was just never realistically going to happen. And if you watch the game yesterday, the Celtics versus the Nuggets, it's the perfect reason why you get smacked in the face. I love Jayson Tatum's game. I think he's great, and everyone's allowed to have an off game, but the problem is that it's not even so much that he didn't step up in that game. It's more so that you also see Jaylen Brown absolutely ball out, and they're just not giving the MVP to someone who also does that in any given moment. Now, Tatum was consistently leading the way and consistently coming up big in a game like this against the Nuggets. That's great, but he's not. And so that's the biggest issue why. But let's see what Stephen A has to say, and we'll break it down from there.
Because the one person that has been shining light on Jayson Tatum being the league MVP is me, okay? And in light of his performance last night, I have to say I'm a bit heartbroken because I think that he's put it in grave jeopardy. It's not a finished deal. There's still enough games to go for him to make amends.
Jeopardy.
But you're talking about a guy averaging 27, 28 points per game in 2 losses to Denver this year against a reigning defending NBA champion, a league MVP in Nikola Jokic, even though he's not the present MVP, that would be Joel Embiid. You're talking about a Jayson Tatum that's averaged 18.5 points on 38% shooting and 23% from three-point range in the 2 losses. They were 0-2 to the Denver Nuggets this year. That is not a good thing. Jaylen Brown shows up and drops 41 last night on 16 of 29 shooting. Very reminiscent of the NBA Finals when Jaylen Brown showed up, but Jayson Tatum was struggling. Okay, so we have to take that into consideration. His 29 shots, Jayson Tatum, why did you only get 13 shots last night? I'm wondering about that. Then we've got to take into account the fact that, again, it reminds folks of the kind of performance we saw in the NBA Finals, and you're wondering what you're going to do when you go up against the big teams in the West. You're 0-2 against Denver this year. You're 0-1 against OKC. You're 1-1 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm looking at it from that perspective, and I'm saying that is not a good situation for a guy vying for his first league MVP candidate. I've been big on Jayson Tatum needing to be considered the leader for the MVP vote. Best player on the best team in the NBA. But the best team in the NBA is 0-2 against the reigning defending NBA champions, who, by the way, are a top 3 seed in the Western Conference, okay? They're vying for the number 1 spot in the Western Conference, and against the Boston Celtics, who are supposedly the best team, the NBA champions are undefeated against them. To me, that is a blemish if you are Jayson Tatum and looking for the MVP award, Wendy.
So, I think, with Stephen A, what he's saying, he's both right and completely wrong. Saying that his MVP case, first off, he's saying that he is the MVP and that his MVP case is still, afloat, which is just fundamentally wrong. There's no way he is getting an MVP. Tatum would have to go on an absolute tear. I mean, like, the dude would need like 3 50-point games in a row or something. I mean, I honestly don't even know. I mean, like, it would absolutely be insane. He would have to rip off on one of the most legendary runs we have ever seen. And the truth is that the Celtics are already leading the way, so it's not like he would be doing that to be like getting them into the playoffs or getting them to the number 1 seed. Like, it would have to be under such different circumstances that even if he did continue to ball out, I just don't even know if that would be enough at this point, because the stakes aren't as relative necessarily. I think this game highlighted 2 things, really. Tatum is still capable, no matter how much better he's getting over the years, and how great he is. He's so athletic. He's so hyper athletic. His game is so great. He can do such awesome stuff. Even when he doesn't finish, it's still just, you're just like, oh my God. He had this one like reverse layup that didn't go in, but it was like a thing of beauty. He still disappears, right? Putting up 13 shots, not a lot of points in an intense game, a tough game where you're trying to match yourself up against a Denver and say, okay, where do we stand? And he just doesn't come up big. And on the same night that Jaylen Brown is putting up, 30 plus points midway through the third quarter, that contrast is different. And you can see Jaylen Brown has such a more dog mentality. Don't get me wrong, Jaylen Brown's not the perfect player either, but you could see that Jaylen Brown can bring a level of intensity more so than a Jayson Tatum in a lot of ways. And I think that is probably your biggest concern with Jayson Tatum if you're a Celtics fan, especially when you're coming into the playoffs. You have to just ask yourself, is Jayson Tatum that dog? Is he that guy? Do you ever really truly feel like, all right, it's all right, we got Tatum, he's going to step up big in game 6. I know it's 3-2. We got to get this game 6 on the road. He's going to come up big. We know it. You don't have that faith. You don't have that confidence at all. You really don't. When there's other players like a Steph, a KD, a LeBron, a Kobe, like, you trust that they will not only get the job done, but at the very least, that it's going to be all out on the floor, right? Even Allen Iverson, for that matter, he may not succeed, but he's going to give 100%. He will put up like 40 shots to make sure that he tries everything he possibly can, for better or worse. And you don't necessarily see that in Tatum. He doesn't have the Mamba mentality. His game is so nice, so smooth, so great. And I would absolutely positively love to have him on my team and have him be the leader of my team. But you need a lot of pieces around him. I think Tatum can win and even be the MVP if he has a team like the Warriors had with the KD, Clay, Draymond, has these other players to step up in the moments that you need them to step up, and also the levels of intensity like Draymond Green can do. Or even, put him on a team like with the Miami Heat back in the old days, with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. Like, I think he could win in those environments. But when you have a team like the Celtics, which play some really great, beautiful ball, but so many things have to go right. They're not quick on their feet to adapt in tough situations. And we saw that perfectly last night. And that's the opposite of what the Denver Nuggets are. The Denver Nuggets, in a close game, or if things aren't going perfectly, or they, the refs miss a couple calls, or they miss an out of bounds call, the Nuggets can handle all of that. They can miss back-to-back threes, and not unravel. The Celtics, things start to just unravel so much more easily. Tatum misses another shot and then another shot. And now as soon as that happens, you're just like, all right, well, he's practically done for the rest of the game. And now it's all Brown. And Brown's hot. And then, now Brown just can't make a shot, And it just starts to unravel. And then now the Nuggets get an easy basket from Jokic, and they cut the lead. And then, now they dish it out, knock down a 3, and then before you know it, they're up by 6, 8, 10. And then now they're able to just have that cushion and to able to stop any type of bleeding that the Celtics then want to try to initiate. And to me, just because the team has a better record, we just say, oh, they're the best team. That's just lazy. Talking about sports and predicting sports would be the easiest thing if it was always just a team with the best record and the player with the best stats. We would be able to do that every single year. We would all be billionaires. We would all just know who's going to win the championship, who's going to win the Super Bowl, who's going to win the World Series. They have the best record. They're the best team. There you go. That's just like lazy. That's lazy. That's lazy commentary. After watching a game, and I'm a big proponent, I always say this, we don't just draw conclusions or even predictions for that matter based off of just one game in a long season of the Celtics, in the NBA. And I would say that to draw this, let's just say, well, listen, the Denver Nuggets are clearly just significantly better. I wouldn't say that, but what this game does tell me is what I just said. The resilience factor of the Nuggets is so much stronger than that of the Celtics. The Celtics blow out a lot of teams. They're not winning a lot of these close games here. And so to win close games, you need players like Tatum to play big, and it needs to happen consistently. And the last thing I'll say is I always hate when people say, oh, Tatum chokes or this or that. It's not a matter of choking. It's, that's not what happens. But it is a matter of, I feel bad saying this, but like heart. We use those terms so loosely when evaluating, oh, this guy has heart, this guy has heart. Oh, no one's got a bigger heart than him. First man in, last man out, stuff like that. Tatum cares. He wants to go hard. He wants to win. He is not just all preoccupied with, Instagram followers and celebrities and stuff like that. He wants to win. But at the heart of his core, we talk about this a lot in basketball, he's soft. And I wish that wasn't a bad thing. Because as a human being, I think he's awesome. I think he's seriously one of my favorite players in the NBA because he's just a good freaking human being. And I want to see players like that succeed. He reminds me of a Tua, honestly. Tua Tagovailoa, just a good person, right? Someone who deeply cares, wants to win, but they could only do so much. They're only capable. Their level of intensity and their skill set is only so capable. And so that limits them. And at this point, we know who Tatum is. This is who Tatum is, okay? He is amazing. He is great. He can do awesome things. But he needs to be supported. And we saw this also, this will be definitely the last thing I say. We saw this in the Olympics. KD looked to Tatum and said, this is your team. You need to lead the way. And Tatum, had the reaction of just wait, what? Are you sure? Really? Huh? He needed KD to be go, young fella, go. You're the ones that got the legs. You're the one that has the energy. Go, And it was all, and that's what makes KD so amazing. Because KD isn't I'm the old head. I'm the one that's here to stay. Let's go, And he was just nah, man, go. You go ball. This is you. Go. And Tatum needs that, In a lot of ways, Tatum needs his dad to, keep pushing him along on the bike, before you really take away the training wheels. He needs that. And again, it's not a matter of weakness. It's not a defect. It's not, that he just is soft, that he's weak, he's this, that. It's not in this big negative connotation. He just needs to be supported. LeBron James needed to be supported when he went to the Miami Heat. LeBron James was not this bona fide winner. He needed Dwayne Wade to hold his hand. No ifs, ands, or buts. He needed that. 1,000%. He needed Dwayne Wade to be it's all right. Come on, you got this. Go. This is your team. Take charge. And Tatum needs that. The problem is I don't know where he's necessarily getting that because all the players around him are all in his own class, his own age group, right? It's kind of a freshman trying to lead a freshman in a lot of ways. And what Tatum needs is a senior, right? Tatum would be so much in a better position if the Celtics got KD rather than the Phoenix Suns, right? Because that's that's a perfect contrast between where KD is to Devin Booker. Much older, much wiser, much more experienced. Now, Devin Booker's not open to any guidance, and Devin Booker doesn't even need the push. Devin Booker just wants everything right now. I'm the leader. I'm this. This is my team. I'm the dog, which is, both good and bad, depending on the situation. But that's where Jayson Tatum would be able to shine, is having someone like a KD on his team, as we saw with the Olympics. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. Please let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So if you think what I'm saying is the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard, please let me know. If you think what I'm saying is the most amazing thing, then definitely please let me know. Either way, let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.